Hello, Ben. How are you this fine
I'm good.
evening?
Nice to see you again. We just did a
Yes,
Zoom call. That was great.
yep. Okay, so we're here today, firstly, to talk about the FDA warning on menopause drugs and the liver fallout from that, and
Right.
looking forward to you giving us some natural alternatives to that, Ben.
Well, you heard about the drug. Have you heard? Did you know about the drug before? Is that new to
Yeah,
you?
yeah, the name of the drug?
VO? No. Had you heard of the drug? Is this a new thing for you, or is
No, no, because I haven't really been, needing that, so
that's
I'm
right?
not in that.
That's right. Okay, so it's a new drug. It's a non-hormonal menopause drug. It works
Yes.
with the nervous system, which is very interesting because it's used for menopausal symptoms. Um, and is that there's a clue there. If you have a drug that involves neurology and it's used for menopausal symptoms, what does it tell you about your menopausal symptoms? There's a neurological component. There's a brain
Right.
component. Vioza happens to work in the brain, a part of the brain that's associated with the stress response. It's called your hypothalamus. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
The hypothalamus is a major player in how the body responds to the environment. And in the case of stressors, the hypothalamus plays a major role in stressors. This is a drug that blocks the stress response at the level of the hypothalamus. That's how it works. So the question is, and it causes liver injury. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's enough that there's a black box on it. There's a black box warning that says it can cause rare but serious liver injury. So there's a warning. I don't know if it's a black box warning, but it's a warning about it.
Right.
But if you understand the mechanism, maybe I'm just a little old pharmacist guy, but maybe we should figure out why the body's, what's the stress response about? What's causing the stress response? So hot flashes, night sweats, anxiety, insomnia, problems with the digestive system, constipation, hypothyroidism, a whole spectrum of symptoms that are associated with a lousy menopause are stress response related. They're all sympathetic. This is a drug that stops that response. Well, let's figure out the stress response. You won't have to worry about it. And indeed, that's the case. Menopause is associated with our triangle disease, or menopausal symptoms are associated with the triangle disease. Leaky gut, histamine, dysbiosis. Point number 2, metabolic syndrome, insulin. By the way, histamine is a major activator of the of estrogen, female reproductive system hormones, and then cortisol, stress hormone. It's the triangle, and I know you guys are going to get so sick of me saying this, but everything boils down to the triangle. I do this LinkedIn. I don't know if you see my LinkedIn's with my friend Liam in Longevity. I do these things every Sunday with him, and you know what we do? We talk about health challenges. We back them to I all to the triangle, and I show papers, research papers. Go on my LinkedIn profile. I have research papers for everyone. It's a bit of a pain, but I happen to do it with the hot flashes. This is from Public Library of Science. The relationship between hot flashes and fatty acid binding protein. That's a marker for dysbiosis, messed up gut bacteria. Oh, surprise, surprise. Hot flashes. Where's the conclusion here? The study shows that hot flashes are significantly associated with FAB2, this intestinal dysfunction in postmenopausal women. Okay, first point of triangle disease. You want more? Okay. Vasomotor menopause. This is from the Journal of Medicine and Life. Vasomotor menopausal disorders, hot flashes, as a result of dysfunction of the microbiota intestine-brain axis. Yeah, I know that you're probably rolling, not you, but people out there are probably rolling their eyes. Oh, there's Pharmacist Ben again with his triangle disease, blah, blah, blah. It's where everything starts. It's our power. From the journal Maturitas. Vasomotor symptoms and metabolic syndrome. Vasomotor symptoms are associated with sympathetic overactivity, which in turn is associated with metabolic syndrome. Boom. Third, this is from Wiley, from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology. Cortisol dysfunction is associated with hot flashes among midlife women. Come on, you guys. Not you, but everybody out there. I mean, it's the triangle. Everything. It simplifies the whole thing. So for hot flashes, take your Vioza if you want and deal with liver problems. But you'd be a lot better off working on your leaky gut, correcting dysbiosis, I-26. We don't sell I-26 for hot flashes, but via this mechanism, this idea of cutting the head off the snake, I-26 is one of the best things you ever take for hot flashes. Nightly Essence, Ultimate Enzymes, apple cider vinegar with your meals, Dr. Arias liver cleanse. I keep forgetting to talk about that. That one's awesome for any estrogenic hormonal issues. What else? Food diary, eliminate problem foods, all that stuff. Metabolic syndrome, healthy blood sugar pack. I've noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, that a lot of women that get hot flashes love wine and cheese.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Sugar.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. That wine and cheese also involves is a histamine substance, histamine-inducing substance. It contains histamine. So, right. Wine and cheese, big problem. And sweets in general, those are all problems. Metabolic syndrome, digestive issues. The reason this is important is, number one, because it works. But number two is you're going to add years to your life. You're going to add years to your life. Yours is not going to add years to your life. You want to know about why nutrition is God's medicine? Because nutrition adds years to your life. Yeah, you take care of your hot flashes, but it'll add years to your life. Yours is not going to add years to your life. It's going to shorten your life because now your body has to detoxify it. So
here's a question, Ben. So Sam, who is here on the call, he's getting hot flashes as a follow-on.
All the things he should now he's playing around with his hormones in a very serious way. So it's going to be a little harder. Nonetheless, you should be doing all these things, which I'm sure you're doing already anyway. Yeah. Also, see if you notice your hot flashes, link them to specific foods. See if you can associate them with specific foods. So that's another thing. That's where food diary comes in. And then activating, remember we always talk about activating the parasympathetic response, all those different things you can do to activate the parasympathetic response, like the
gratitude,
the tongue, grace, slow, deep breathing, muscle relaxation. Remember, hot flashes are a sign of the stress response. So having the body stand down, activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the vagus nerve, will be very important and very helpful. Warm baths. You might want to take a warm bath if you have hot flashes, but warm water can tell the body to stand down. Foot rubs. Michelle.
Yeah.
Sam, you get foot rubs. I'm the doctor. You get prescribed 2 foot rubs a day from Michelle. I'm kidding, but I'm not, because muscle relaxation in the feet. There's a lot of nerves in the feet that can help relax the nerves. So, and things like that, all the relaxation stuff. Right. And that's true. Remember, I was talking to, with cancer, you're on, shaky ground when you start to talk about things like this. But the fact is, cancer is part of the stress response, and there's a really interesting mechanism that I didn't want to have time to get into. I don't know if you heard me talk about how there's primitive cells, prokaryotes, that are like bacteria. They just divide and divide and divide. And they're very unorganized, and they don't have a lot of working parts. They don't do a lot of work. And then there's the super advanced cells, like animal cells. They call them eukaryotes. They're advanced, and those have a very defined structure, and they do lots of work, and they're very specialized. They're very specialized, and they're very advanced. Well, that takes a lot of work to be an advanced cell. When a cell doesn't have enough food, enough oxygen, and it's toxic long enough, occasionally it will say, you know what? I'm just sick of this. I'm going to act like a bacteria. I'm going to just spin and divide and grow. And I'm not going to be an organ. To be a liver cell, a cell has to sort of give up its life. It has to sort of sacrifice itself. Cells don't want to be liver cells necessarily, but they're doing it for the team. But the cells in the body, is hundreds of different cells in the body, they become specialized for the team. They give up their own independence. Bacterial cells don't do that. There's no bacterial organs. Bacteria form films. It's almost like, this is the way I think of it. It's like a cell is saying, look, you've been starving me. You've been suffocating me. You've been, toxifying me for so long. I'm just going to go. I'm not going to be a liver. Forget you. I'm just going to start dividing. And that's kind of how we have to look at it. It's the end result of cellular duress. Yeah, there's things that get blamed, but it's really the cellular duress from toxicity or hypoxia or malnourishment, usually a combination of the 3, because they're all kind of interrelated.
Okay. So if a woman were wanting to get off any hot flash medication. She just
Triangle of
followed.
disease. Go back to digestion, food diary, probiotic, all the daily digest, all the digestive support. Use metabolic syndrome strategies, lower your sugar, and pay attention to different foods that spike your blood, that spike your hot flashes or make your menopausal symptoms worse. They're usually going to be sugary foods, bread, pasta, right? Comfort foods. It's the
Right.
comfort foods, really. It's the foods that make us feel comfortable when we're under stress, and we pay the price for that. Ultra processed foods are problematic. And then all the relaxation strategies for cortisol, calming the body down, activating the parasympathetic nervous system through slow, deep breathing and warm water, warm baths, if you can do those, if it's not too uncomfortable. And then there's a connection to the vagus nerve where the soft palate meets the hard palate in the top of your mouth, tickling that, humming, oming. All these are all great ways to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest relaxation nervous system. And when I talk about breathing, activating the relaxation nervous system, the exhale is where that happens. The inhale actually activates the stress response, but the exhale where you relax. So even just sighing, sometimes people will just sigh, they'll do it. They don't know why they're doing it. They just know it relaxes them, and that's what's happening.